Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. It's another draw preview and prediction video, and we have an absolutely stacked lineup for the ATP Toronto Open or the National Bank Open presented by Rogers, whichever one you want to call it. I mean, there's so many different sponsors nowadays, isn't there, for these tournaments? Who knows what to call it? Before we get into it, though, remember to that like button, do subscribe if you're new, and do leave a rating or review if you're listening on a podcast platform. Okay, I have to quickly give a disclaimer. The biggest news from a more negative standpoint is, of course, no Novak Djokovic, because he has chosen to not play this event due to fatigue. I think mental, physical, whatever it might be, he's not going to play this event. No Nadal, of course, he's injured. We know he's not going to be back anytime soon. And those are the two omissions. Big omissions, of course, but those are two omissions. But apart from that, we have an incredible lineup. And the top half of this draw is ridiculous because we have Alcaraz, Holger Rune, Stefano Tsitsipas, and who else? Yannick Sinner, all in the same half. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Now, I haven't checked out the first round matchups or anything, so I'm going into this blind, like you guys, hopefully, if you're watching this well, going into it with open eyes, let's say, and haven't been able to look at the draw yet. So I'm going to go through each and every match for any of you that don't know how this works. I go into every single match. I give you guys my prediction for each match, and then we work our way through the draw, through each and every round, and ultimately, I'll give you guys my winner. And I'll give a little bit of insight into some of the matchups as well and styles potentially. Look, it's a bit of fun. I really enjoy it. And of course, leave your thoughts in the comment section below as to who you picked as your winner, especially if you're picking this on TNS Live, which is a great platform to do your brackets. Okay, so Carlos Alcaraz has a bye, which is expected, of course, given he's the top seed. Ben Shelton plays the Pato Morales now on a hard court. This shouldn't be too difficult for the American, although he's had two relatively disappointing losses to a very young and talented Chinese player, Shang, in the last couple of weeks. But I expect him to bounce back and win against Pato Morales on the hard courts. Ketmanovic plays a qualifier, so we'll go with him for now. And then we've got this is an incredible first round matchup. I'm not sure if we're going to get a much better first round matchup, in all honesty. Alexander Bublik, who has been in really good form the last 4 or 5 months against Hubert Hurkacz, who is extremely solid, of course, we know. And look, he has a serve volley game. Both guys have massive serves. There's going to be aces galore. There's going to be some trick shots from Bublik, a lot of serve and volleys from Hurkacz and transitioning coming to the net. This is a great clash of styles. Honestly, I think this is a must-watch first round. There's going to be some short points, and there's definitely going to be some tussles as well. Hurkacz leads Bublik, by the way, 5-1 in the head-to-head. Doesn't particularly look very good for Bublik. But you know what? Given form, I'm actually going to go with Bublik. I'm actually going to go with Bublik to cause the upset. Tommy Paul against the qualifier. I'll go for Tommy Paul anyway. I think he's going to have a pretty good US Open swing like he did last year. Will he be able to go as deep? Remains to be seen. Alex Gallineur, the wild card, has Cerundolo, Francisco Cerundolo, the older brother. I think he'll come through this one. He's a talented player, and I think his forehand is more than good enough on all surfaces. Rusevori has a qualifier as well. I think he'll come through. He's been in some decent form as well. I'm hoping that he will be able to get through this and try and make a run at some of these events, because he is, in my opinion anyway, very talented and needs to be doing a bit more in terms of results at this age, and try and follow the footsteps of someone like Holger Rune, who we're going to talk about now, who's got a bye. So does Tsitsipas, Gelmon Feast, Christopher. Oh my gosh, what a matchup. These are ridiculous first round matchups. This is big time tennis. We're back here. We're back here, baby. We're back here. Monfils and Eubanks. Eubanks just made the quarterfinals of Wimbledon. Monfils is, we know what a showman he is. It's such a tough one to pick. There's going to be, again, winners just raining down from the heavens in this matchup. I'm going to go the Eubanks. Oh, it's a real 50-50. Echeverry, Quarter. Quarter should come through this, but Echeverry's got a good game. In my opinion, though, more suited to clay. Quarter should get through it. Dimitrov, Chorich. I mean, this is a these are filthy matchups. These are filthy matchups. Dimitrov, Chorich is just ridiculous. Anyone could win this. Honestly, this is going to be a long video because honestly, this is ridiculous for first round matchups. I don't know. Dimitrov has just made the semis of Washington. Chorich has just lost to Tsitsipas, relatively deep against. Chorich just lost to Tsitsipas in Cabo. But he had a couple of decent results. He's not been the best of form. Let's go for Dimitrov. FAA versus a qualifier. We'll go for Felix, but in all honesty, he could lose to absolutely anyone. He is in a really, really big rut at the moment this year. It's not been a very good year for him. Sonego and Andy Murray. Look, I mean, Andy Murray could definitely get a worse draw, but he could also get a better one. Sonego is a very solid player. I'm going to go with Murray. I took a lot of confidence from his match against Taylor Fritz. I think for me anyway, that matchup against Fritz, I think he could have won that. I think he should have won it. Sonego is a similar-ish type of player in style to Fritz, and I think Murray will have success against him. So I'm going to go for Murray. Berrettini, Barreau, will go for Berrettini. Of course, he had a very good Wimbledon run after a barren run with barely any matches played beforehand, and came back and bounced back really nicely. So I'm hoping that he's going to be able to still be rested and fresh and come through and have a good US Open swing. Sinner has a bye, as does Rublev. McDonald, Karatsev. We'll go for Karatsev. Manarino to be a qualifier, and Tiafoe Raonic. This is a potential banana skin for Francis Tiafoe. Raonic has such a big serve, but I do think Tiafoe should be able to outmaneuver him. So I'll go for Tiafoe. Zverev, Griekspoor. Now, Griekspoor's been in really good form. He's been, again, the semi-finals of Washington. Some good wins under his belt. Zverev, in my opinion, he needs to be winning a slam sooner rather than later, but the signs are definitely telling me anyway that it's not going to happen this year, given there's only one slam left. Could he pick up some form and really put himself forward as a contender at the US Open? Maybe. A win over Griekspoor would definitely at least help his cause. We'll go for Zverev. Davidovich Fokina versus JJ Wolf. We'll go for JJ Wolf. Nakashima and Lehechka, great first round as well. Wow. These are tough. I'm gonna go for Lehechka. Lehechka. Rude has a bias as Fritz. Ooh, what Masters 1000 tournaments, honestly, in some ways, it's just so entertaining. And these first rounds are ridiculously good. Ugo Burr, who's been in good form, versus Nicholas Jarry, who's had a great year so far. I'm going to go for Jarry. What a matchup. Diallo Evans, will go for Evans. He's been in some good form in Washington. Dimona and Cam Norrie. I mean, that has long rallies written all over it, of course. Dimona has been playing a bit more of an aggressive style of tennis, but of course, we know he can run for days. He's got good shot tolerance. He's happy to engage in long rallies. Same with Cam Norrie. I'm going to go for Alex de Minaur, given form recently. Musetti Nishioka. Now, this could be a potentially tricky match for Musetti, who, of course, is more comfortable on the clay. We'll go for Musetti, though, to win that one. Zhang Zhizhen versus qualifier. Go for Zhang. Pospisil to be the qualifier. Medvedev has a bye. Right, I mean... We've just spent like 10 minutes almost talking about this first round matchup. It's ridiculous. Just so good. Alcaraz, Shelton. Now, I would like to say that Shelton has a chance, but given how Alcaraz has been playing the last few months in Shelton, I think the gap is too big to close currently, unless Shelton has an absolute blinder and Alcaraz, which is possible, could have a bad day. I don't see Shelton getting a good. I know he's got a massive serve, but I think Alcaraz should be able to nullify that. So I'll go for Alcaraz. Bublik to beat Kekmanovic. I've got Cerundolo Tommy Paul's a really good matchup. I know Cerundolo to beat Tommy Paul. Holger Rune to beat Rusevori, great matchup as well. Tsitsipas versus Eubanks. I mean, that was a 5-set thriller at Wimbledon in the quarterfinals. Oh, the quarterfinals, sorry. In the round of 16. And of course, Eubanks came out on top. I think Tsitsipas is going to get revenge and beat him. Korda Dimitrov. What a matchup. I mean, it really depends on the Sebastian Korda that turns up. He's been very inconsistent in terms of his, in my opinion, his level this year. Shown some real positive flashes. The Australian Open win against Medvedev was a great win. But he's also shown some very poor results as well. Now, he has had his issues with injuries. Dimitrov is having one of the best years he's had since 2017. He's a very dangerous opponent, although I do think Korda should be able to take advantage of that one-hander with his backhand. If he serves well, he should have the game to beat Dimitrov. I'm going to go for Korda. Murray to beat Felix Auger-Aliassime. I think FA is there for the taking for Murray. Berrettini Sinner, this is a great matchup. I mean, look at this. We've got two matchups here of compatriots. We've got Berrettini Sinner, two Italians, and then Rublev Karatsev, two Russians. Look, I mean, Sinner is and should go into this the favourite. If Berrettini, though, plays like he did at Wimbledon in terms of his confidence level and also the way that he was able to move, it's a tough match for Sinner and he needs to return well. I'm going to go for Sinner, but I actually wouldn't be surprised if Berrettini wins that. Rublev, Karatsev will go for Rublev. TFO to beat Manarino. And I think Zverev, JJ Wolf. I'll go Zverev. I'm going to go Lehechka to beat Casper Ruud. I think Ruud just, since that Roland Garros final, barely any interest in the grass. I know he'll probably start to show his better form on the hard courts given he made the US Open final last year, but I'm not quite sure whether he's going to be able to pick himself up. I think Lehechka is dangerous as well. Fritz Jarry, I mean, what a matchup this would be. Really impressive matchup. I think given Taylor Fritz has gone deeper at Washington this week and he also won an event the week before, I'm going to go for Jarry. Diminer Evans, I'm going to go for Diminer. Massetti to beat Zhang and Medvedev to beat Pissel. Medvedev, of course, back on his favourite surface, which is hard court. Alcaraz Bublik. Now, this is a great match. Bublik could actually out-hit Alcaraz and win that way in a best of three, but I think Alcaraz will come through. Rune Tsitsipas, I mean, they had a really tight match at Wimbledon. I think Rune should get through it, though, in my opinion. Tsitsipas Korda is a great match. Korda has the weapons to beat Tsitsipas, in honesty, but I think Tsitsipas is playing some decent tennis. We'll go for Tsitsipas. Murray Sinner. This could be a step too far for Murray. I think Sinner will probably have too much firepower from the back of the court. So we'll go for Yannick Sinner. Rublev TFO. I'm going to go for TFO to beat Rublev. I think TFO, again, has the capabilities to beat the Russian, but Rublev, I mean, a lot of people maybe underestimate how good he is. In my opinion, given his type of game, he should win one slam at least before he retires. I think that's the type of ability he has. Yes, he maybe doesn't have as many, let's say, as much of a skill set anyway at his disposal as some other players, but what he does very well. And he is trying to add to his game. I like the fact that he's trying to come forward nowadays as well and volley when he can. Of course, he's not rushing the net, but he's picking his moments. And he's added a drop shot as well. And similar to Fritz, I watched him the other day against Murray and I did the commentary for it. And he has developed a drop shot, which is actually very effective, a really impressive drop shot. And also is more winnings to come forward and try and volley. And I was very happy about that because I feel like that's a really good step in the right direction. Zverev Lehechka, I mean, we'll go Zverev. Jarry Dimanoga Jarry and Medvedev Musetti. Right, quarterfinals I've got, interesting. So not the projected quarterfinals. I've got Alcaraz Rune, Tsitsipas the top half I've stuck with the seeds. Bottom half completely, apart from Medvedev, completely different. TFO Zverev, Jarry, Medvedev. Right, so Alcaraz Rune, I could see Rune being Alcaraz, honestly, in a best of three. And also given that Rune has beaten him before. I know Alcaraz beat him at Wimbledon recently. I'm going to go with Alcaraz. Tsitsipas Sinner, I'm going to go with Sinner. And then TFO Zverev, I'm going to go with TFO. And Jarry Medvedev. Jarry could beat Medvedev, honestly. We'll go with Medvedev. So I've got Alcaraz Sinner in the semi-finals and TFO Medvedev. Look, Sinner is a very hard matchup for Alcaraz, and the 3-all head-to-head signifies that I'm going to go for Sinner to get the better of Alcaraz in this one and come through. I think Alcaraz, he's not going to be at 100% his best, in my opinion, given that Wimbledon victory. I'd be very surprised if he's at 100% his best, and I think Sinner will take advantage of that, and I do think he feels like he has the style to really trouble Alcaraz, and historically speaking, that has been true. Medvedev TFO, I think it'll be tough for TFO, so I'm going to go for Medvedev to win. Then Sin and Medvedev in the final. Now, look, Medvedev has a really good record against Jannik Sinner in finals. Honestly, he has a really, really good head-to-head against him. 6-love. Sinner's never beaten him. Never. And the last 2 matches they played were finals. Rotterdam this year and Miami this year. And both times Medvedev won. The first match was 5-7, 6-2, 6-2 Medvedev. Second one was 7-5, 6-3. I think Sinner's going to finally break the duck, and I think he's going to beat Medvedev. Now, a lot of this, of course, is down to how Sinner looks. Is he going to stay injury-free, niggle-free, and also the blisters and the cramping? But if he stays fit, my pick is Jannik Sinner. I do think, of course, Alcaraz is the favourite given the status. No Djokovic, no Nadal, and he's just won Wimbledon. But I would be surprised if he comes back straight away and wins the tournament. I think normally it takes a bit of time to process it. And then also I do feel like he'll want to save his best for the US Open, and he won't want to push himself too much that he might get injured or potentially, peak at the wrong moment. So Jannik Sinner is my winner. Let me know who you have picked and why. Thank you very much, guys. Stay safe and well. We'll see you in the next video.